Hello everyone, welcome back. In this tutorial, we'll be learning about wireless access, which is Bluetooth, and we'll be covering the technicality of Bluetooth. Let's get started. Bluetooth. It's not a new term. Consider the situation that you are there with your friend, and at a certain point of time, you want to exchange some data with her. Okay, so you will say that there are a lot of options. Say you can Gmail her, you can WhatsApp her. But what if I say that you do not have internet connection? There, in this situation, the need for Bluetooth arises. So when you actually use Bluetooth device, you can actually create a personal area network, and it does not require an internet connection for transferring data. If we move on to the introduction, Bluetooth is a wireless technology standard and is used for exchanging data, okay, between fixed and mobile devices over short distances. The important point to note is that it uses ultra high frequency radio waves in the ISM band, which is industrial, scientific, and medical radio band. And as I said, it builds actually a personal area network, which is called PANs, right? Now, the technical part is that its range is up to 10 meters and the transmitting between 2.402 gigahertz to 2.480 gigahertz, and it reaches a speed of up to 720 kilobits per second. Now let's start with the definition. So Bluetooth is a wireless LAN technology designed to connect devices of different functions. We have mobile phones, we have computers, we have headsets, right? So a Bluetooth LAN is basically an ad hoc network, which means that the network is formed spontaneously. The devices are called gadgets and they find each other and make a network which is called a piconet. We will be understanding this in the next slide. But with the latest advancements in technology, Bluetooth LAN can now be connected to internet if one of the gadgets has this capability. Even at this point of time, you can see in the figure, I have my MI band connected to my phone via the Bluetooth, and my phone is connected to internet via the mobile data. So I can now get all the WhatsApp notifications right in my MI band, which is connected to the Bluetooth. So you can see this is a practical implementation where Bluetooth LAN can be connected to internet as well. Talked about the Bluetooth ad hoc network. So basically, you can say that these are basically your gadgets. This is your master, and they find each other and form a network which is called the Piconet. So now let's dig a bit deeper into the history. So Bluetooth as a word is derived from the 10th century king of Denmark whose name was Harald Bletand, and Bletand actually translates to Bluetooth in English. So based on the analogy that Bluetooth technology would unite devices the way King Harald united Denmark and Norway, right? So what started as a research project in 1994 by Ericsson Mobile Communication with one goal to relieve cables carried by mobile phone users. In February 1998, Bluetooth SIG Special Interest Group was founded under the core promoters. The five core promoters were Ericsson, Intel, IBM, Toshiba, and Nokia. And in the next year, 1999, more core promoters such as Microsoft, 3Com, and Motorola were also added. So now we have members that exceed 2500 in number. Now let's talk about the architecture. So Bluetooth defines two types of networks. The first is your Piconet and the second is your Scatternet. Let's discuss them in detail. Now let's talk about Piconet first. So remember this picture in your mind. This is your master and these all are your slaves. Now let's talk about Piconets in detail. So a Bluetooth network is called a Piconet or a small net. A Piconet can have up to 8 stations, one of which is called the primary, the rest are called secondaries. In some literature, you will also find the words master and slave. So, master is basically used for primary and slaves is basically used for secondary stations. So, do not get confused in that point of time, right? Now, all the secondary stations synchronize their clocks and hopping sequence with the primary, and you should note that a Piconet can have only one primary station. The communication is between master and slave and not slave slave. And a Piconet can have a maximum of 7 secondaries, and additional 8 secondaries can be there in the parked state. A slave can be said in a parked state, which means that it is in an inactive low power state. Let's talk about that through this image. See, as I discussed, a Piconet will have only one master. So you can see this laptop is the only master or the primary station. These are basically your slave nodes, and the connection is always between the master and the slave and never between the slave and slave. That means if this device wants to communicate, say, with this device, this direct connection cannot be there. We have to intervene, the master has to intervene in between. Okay, and we talked about something called parked state and active slave state. So parked state means that the specific node or the specific station is actually in inactive low power state. Now let's talk about scatternet. So piconets can be combined to form what is called a scatternet. You can see in this figure we have three piconets, piconet 1, 2 and 3. You have this M denoting the master Bluetooth device, S denoting the slave Bluetooth device, and you can notice that this specific device is actually both having master and slave. This is the specific device which actually is a master in this Piconet 2 and a slave in Piconet 3, right? So this is a combination of Piconets which forms a scatternet. You can also refer to the definition that a secondary station in one Piconet can be the primary in another, and this station can receive messages from the primary in the first piconet and acting as a primary deliver them to the secondary in the second piconet. So this is usually called the bridge device, right? This is a small synopsis of what we have discussed. So basically we have three kinds of networks. So the first one is your piconet, which is point to point, where we have one master and one slave. Second, we have piconet, which is multi-point, which has like one master and up to seven slave nodes. And the scatter net, which is having a node or a power station that is actually the master in one piconet and a slave in another piconet. So far, we have discussed about connection states. So we have already discussed about active, that is, both master and slave participate actively on the channel by transmitting or receiving the packets. So you can see that A, B, E, F, H are basically your active members. Next we have sniff. So in this mode, slave, rather than listening on every slot for master's message for the slave, sniffs on specified time slots for its messages. Hence the slave can go to sleep in the free slots, thus saving power. So an example is basically your C. Next we have hold. So in this mode, a device can temporarily not support ACL packets and go to low power sleep mode to make the channel available for things like paging, scanning, etc. An example is G. And the last, we already had discussed the park states, that slave stays synchronized but not participating in the piconet, and then the device is giving a parking member address and it loses its active member address. The examples are D and I, right? Now let's talk about the Bluetooth forming a piconet. So basically there are seven steps to it. Inquiry, in which it's used to identify the Bluetooth devices in the close range. Inquiry scan, that devices are listening for inquiries from other devices. Inquiry response, the slave responds with a packet that contains the slave's device access code, native clock, and some other slave information. Then we have page. The master sends page messages by transmitting slave's device access code in different hop channels. Next, we have page scan. The slave listens at a single hop frequency in the scan window. Slave responds to master's page message. And the seventh, master response. Master reaches this substate after it receives slave's response to its page messages for it. It might seem a bit confusing, so let's break it down in the next slide. Let's break it down into three important parts. The first one is inquiry. So what happens in inquiry is that it identifies who else is in the range. The second is paging. In paging, it creates a link between a device. You can see A and B, a link is created. Now, the third is expanding. So, expanding it creates a link between following devices. So, all the devices are linked together.